Hey, Mr. Tony.
My very elegant mother just sat upon 9 porcupines. Okay, she really didn't, but this is a memory aid to help us remember the 9 planets in our solar system. You apply the first letter of the memory aid to the first letter of each planet in our solar system. These planets are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. As children, we learned that there are 9 planets in our solar system. And as a child, I've always loved learning about astronomy and the different objects in our solar system, including the sun and the moon and the planets and even constellations. But what we've learned as children has recently changed. Pluto used to be known as the farthest planet away from the sun, but Pluto has since been reclassified as a dwarf planet. And although this is a new classification for this planet, it's not the only object in space considered to be a dwarf planet. You're about to discover the new changes that have taken place, including the new definition for a planet and a dwarf planet, the reason why Pluto is no longer a planet, and other objects that are also considered dwarf planets. Due to recent discoveries, the International Astronomical Union felt that it was important to redefine the terms planet as well as the term dwarf planet. Voted on by the International Astronomical Union in 2006, new definitions have taken place for the term planet and dwarf planet, and NASA's website gives us the definition of both. Next slide. For an object to be considered a planet, it must meet 3 main criteria. These are that the planet must orbit the sun, be nearly spherical in shape, and has cleared the neighborhood around its orbit. Next slide. For an object to be considered a dwarf planet, it must meet 4 main criteria. It must orbit the sun, be nearly spherical in shape, it cannot be a satellite or a moon, and it has not cleared the neighborhood around its orbit. So now that we know the definition of a planet and the definition of a dwarf planet, what exactly does it mean when a planet has not cleared the neighborhood around its orbit? The Usborne Book of Astronomy and Science tells us that in the 1990s, astronomers discovered that Pluto orbits with other icy bodies and asteroids in its orbit, meaning that Pluto has not cleared the area and is considered a dwarf planet. Next slide. To explain this, picture the Earth in its orbit. The Earth doesn't have to travel with other asteroids or space debris. It's almost as if millions of years ago, the Earth took a broom and swept everything out of its way. So now Earth orbits freely around the sun. Next slide. Pluto, however, orbits with other space debris and icy bodies in an area of space called the Kuiper Belt. The Kuiper Belt is this area right here on the outside of our solar system. The Kuiper Belt contains icy bodies and other space debris, such as asteroids, and because the Kuiper Belt is in the outer reaches of our solar system, it resides in a frigid environment. And because Pluto travels through this Kuiper Belt, it picks up asteroids and other space debris along its way, meaning that Pluto has not cleared its orbit, and Pluto is considered a dwarf planet. So to recap, a planet must orbit the sun, be nearly spherical in shape, but the main difference between a planet and a dwarf planet is that a planet has swept everything out of its way, and a dwarf planet has not. So now that we know the definition of a dwarf planet, there are 2 other objects that are also considered dwarf planets in our solar system. An article by Mark Delahanty on the Astronomy Today website tells us about a discovery that was made in 2005 called Eris. Next slide. Eris is also located in the Kuiper Belt and orbits just outside of Pluto's. Eris also meets the 4 main criteria to be considered a dwarf planet. As you can see, Eris orbits the sun, is nearly spherical in shape, Eris is not a moon or a satellite, and it's located in the Kuiper Belt, which means that it travels with other asteroids and space debris just like Pluto. So Eris is considered to be the largest dwarf planet discovered so far in our solar system. Next slide. Another dwarf planet is called Ceres. An article in Science Daily tells us that Ceres was originally discovered in 1801 and is the largest asteroid in the asteroid belt. Ceres also meets the 4 main criteria to be considered a dwarf planet. As you can see, Ceres orbits the Sun, is nearly spherical in shape, is not a moon or a satellite. Ceres is also located in the Kuiper Belt, which means it travels with other asteroids and space debris. So Ceres is considered the smallest dwarf planet in our solar system. Because of the new definitions that are set forth by astronomers, we now know the criteria involved in classifying planets. The main factor that sets Pluto apart from the other 8 planets in our solar system is that Pluto essentially lives in a cluttered home and is forced to orbit with other asteroids and space debris in the Kuiper Belt. And because Eris and Ceres also orbit in the Kuiper Belt, they are also considered dwarf planets because they have not swept the area of other space debris, and so they are the definition of a dwarf planet. So now that we know that Pluto, Eris, and Ceres are officially 3 dwarves, what does this mean for the future of our solar system? As new discoveries are being made, it's possible that there will be other objects that are considered dwarf planets in our solar system. So pretty soon we may be calling our home the solar system and the 7 dwarves. Thank you.